G'day, champions. I noticed recently I might have inadvertently been a bit uptight in some of the live streams. So I've taken my horse tranquilizer for the day. Couple of joints. Looked up the LD50, halved it, so I'm on the safe side. And a healthy dose of caffeine. I made that mistake last stream, didn't I? No coffee. What a dumb idea that was. Oop, wrong scene. Hello, champions. How you going? Oh, it looks like I've got no eyebrows. I assure you I do. The barber got a bit zealous with his trimming of my facial hair. It's just the lighting, I swear. I've still got eyebrows. What's going on, legends? How are we? We've got Mark. We've got Liz. Yeah, g'day, Liz. How you going? We've got Victor. We've got Robbie. We've got Dad. Hey, Dad. We've got Paul Crane. Hey, Crane. Hey. Okay. Hey, Paul. Greetings from London. Gonna have to duck out pretty early, but I thought I'd say hello. That orange amp on the Facebook page really started me thinking about orange again. Yeah, man, it was a good amp. Sounds a bit boxy. I'm not a fan of how much mid-range it has, but you can play with the tone stack and scoop that out a little bit, just with the tone stack values, and make it a little bit less boxy. But they're really well-built, reliable amps. Love some chili comfort food. When you say chili, Victor, are you talking about the actual recipe chili, or are you talking about the vegetable? The fruit, I should say. It's actually a fruit. We've got Rich. We've got all the usual suspects. Caffeine is mandatory. Yep. Chili's on. Oh, Mark's making chili. Mark, when you make chili, do you do the thing where you smoke the mince as well, like a meatloaf? Just checking my levels. That sounds good enough. So, as you may have seen in the thumbnail and behind me, I've got a lot to diagnose. That's only probably half of what I got to quote as well. And we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 amps. 12, 13, 14. Yeah, there's a few at the end too. So I'm going to start with this SWR base 350, which I rebuilt because it blew the living snot out of itself. It helps if I turn on the panny boy. Just realised I've got one of the cameras not even plugged. There we go. So I'll have a quick chat with you. So we're just going to fire this thing up and give it a stress test. The output module was blown to smithereens, so I had to replace the whole output stage, all the semiconductors in the driver stage as well as the output stage. The bias spreader was okay, and did a few other things too, like disabled the stupid fan switch on the front and replaced the workbench. Hang on, got to reactivate penny boy. There we go. Base 350, and it's actually putting out over 400 watts, so it's one of the rare cases of them actually underestimating the power output. Normally they're like, oh, it's a 600 watt amp, and then you test it and it's like 380 or something lame like that. But that's a genuine 400 watts, and it says it can drive 2 ohms, which I'm not real confident about. But driving 4 ohms, it was more than happy. And yeah, changed the thermal switch that goes from, so normally the fan has like a 200 ohm 300 ohm 7 watt wire wound resistor in series with it, just to keep it running at a slower rate. But then when the switch kicks in, the thermal switch that's mounted on the heatsink, it bypasses that resistor and takes it up to the full belt. I think it was 24 volts supply. So the fan starts screaming. So what I'm going to do is give it a good old sine wave at about 500 millivolts. 400 millivolts. That's generally my sort of go-to number that seems to pretty accurately represent a reasonably heavy-handed 200-pound gorilla on a guitar or bass. And we're going to give it a 4 ohm load. I've got the Fluke there monitoring the voltage as well as the HP scope with its multimeter, but the reason I got the Fluke plugged in is because it's got an alarm, so I can hear if anything goes wrong or the level drops dramatically or anything, which would indicate a significant problem. While we do that, we'll just catch up with you legends, you know? We'll wait for this thing to cook, and if it blows up, you can all laugh at me. In the meantime, I'll have a catch up with you. Oh, what did I do? Amplitude 300. Enter. Where's enter? Oh no. I pressed the button now. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, you can go RMS. Millivolts RMS. 300. Ah, that's how you get to RMS. Right. I'm just figuring out my Rigol signal generator still. Don't mind me. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Limiter off, like all good amps. Boom. That fan bearing sounds noisier than it did yesterday. Ooh. I think, and that top is resonating a bit with the transformer, which it wasn't doing yesterday. I'll tighten those screws up. Noisy little bugger sitting there. That's probably why they got a bit of foam on top of that fan. She's only drawing 27 watts. We'll let that stabilize for a sec before we give it the full belt. Well, we won't give it the full belt. What we'll do, and this is a good lesson. Class AB output stages, regardless of the power supply, this can still be switch mode or linear. Class AB output stages are least efficient and generate the most heat at 1/3 of their power output. So if you think of a resistor, a transistor, transfer resistor, they're like a resistor that changes value depending on what voltage is on the base. That's the super dumbed down quick version. Essentially, they're wasting power if they're anywhere between off and on. So this is why Class D amplifiers are so efficient, because they're trying to spend as least time in that region as possible and spend all their time in either off or on. They call them digital amps as a result, but that's not really what they are. They're just pulse width modulated square waves, but there's nothing really inherently digital about them. People just think on and off means digital, but it's not really true. Of course, some amplifier manufacturers didn't help with that misnomer because they used it as a marketing tool, so that added to the confusion. Like the Class A thing, you know. Anything the marketing team can get their grubby little fucking bangs into, they'll log it for all it's worth. Anyway, Class AB amplifiers are least efficient when you're putting out about 1/3 of their power. So if I'm going to test the thermal capability of an amplifier and its heat sinks, its cooling systems, I'm going to run it at about 1/3 of the output. So if that is, it was putting out 400 and something watts. So if we go 400 divided by 3, we're looking at 133 watts. So you divide that by 4. Hang on. So we want to go 150, doing math too early. So about 130 watts. So we want to go square root. So if we go into 4 ohms, we want to put out about About 23 volts. About 23 volts into a 4 ohm load. And that'll be about 132 watts. I think my chat stopped. Remember, just a quick reminder to go to live chat, everyone, instead of top chat. Don't want YouTube deciding what you do and do not watch. All right, so we've got the signal going in. 300 millivolts. We're hitting the wall at 42 volts RMS. So we're sitting at about 22 volts RMS now. Drawing 400, just on 400 watts from the wall. What's that? If we're exactly 400 watts from the wall, and we're at 22 into 4 ohms, we're at 121 watts. Whereas the peak was at 44 divided by 44 squared divided by 4. 484 is actually what this thing's putting out at max. So I just want to test that the fan's going to go up to the next speed. So it's either slow or full on. Sounds like a jet turbine when you go full on. We'll see how she do, if she blows up or not. There it goes. Probably can't hear it because of the noise reduction. Turn that off for a sec. You can hear she's really taken off now. Just push that aside. I'll set the Flukey boy to min-max mode, so if the voltage drops, alarm will go off. And I'll catch up on the chat champions. Robbie, rebuilding my vacation pedal board in preparation for Thanksgiving holiday. Where do you go for that, Robbie? Do you go away or something? Or are you going... Have you got a holiday home or something? Penny boy. Come on, bro. Not much point staring at the bench there. So, what's going to be on the pedal board, Robbie? Damn, that's good coffee. That's a strong bench. Back there, yeah, I built it myself, bro. I've still got the drawings from when I first signed the lease to this store that we know and love. As soon as I came in, I measured the place completely and created a 3D model of the whole shop in CAD. And then I started fitting it out as best as I could think. This wall that you can see to my right, that one with the door there, that wasn't there, so I got Michelle's brother Matt to put a wall in, reinforced it to make it secure, and put a solid core door with steel reinforcement to the door frame. So because everyone's instruments and prides and joy are in there, so it was very important to me that I got insurance, but a lot of stuff's not replaceable, you know, like people are sentimentally attached to it, so you kind of can't attach a monetary value to some people's stuff, so you have to go out of your way to make sure it's secure. But these benches over here, that's just sort of our basic setup for a workshop that I used to do as a shop fitter. You've got fins every, I don't know, 900, or actually they're about 1200 span. They come out to, I don't know, 2/3 of the bench depth. You can see there's 2 of them there because they join up. That's where the bench joint is. And yeah, that was our standard for like science labs and just prep workstations and that kind of thing. Just a 900 high bench and 700 deep, I think they are, which is a good depth. Deep enough that you can reach the wall and reach the power points and stuff without any trouble, but not so well, yeah, not so deep that you can't reach the back of it, but deep enough that you can have almost like 2 lots of work happening. When I was doing some testing on my Marshall boards, I'd have an amp in front of each other. You'd have the DSL and the TSL in front of each other, testing them both at once in the same workstation. Just anything you can to use up the space as efficiently as possible. I tend not to venture down that end of the benches too often unless we're doing production of like manufacturing. So that is also possibility for expansion if we ever do get an employee or whatever. It's all about future proofing, bros. My wife put in what up as a spicy hot chili pepper. Burn couldn't. You've got to rephrase that, Victor. You're really making me struggle to read that, bro. Anthony White. Good morning, Brad. Great show with Luke last weekend. He seemed really happy to be learning from your skills and knowledge. Well done. Yeah, it was good. I only realised halfway through, well, towards the end, that his mic had cut out because I thought it was plugged in to charge, but it wasn't. So that was shit, but we'll do it a bit better next time. But yeah, he's super keen, and we're getting together a little. His dad and I are getting together a little toolkit, and sort of working together to see what's the most you know, best return on investment tools for him to start with. He's not going to be doing everything all at once. You know, there's no point getting him electronic stuff just yet, other than basic guitar stuff like a soldering iron. But before they go buying stuff, I said, look, just reach out to me, and I might have some specials available from my suppliers, that kind of thing. Son's practicing Werewolves of London on his guitar. That's awesome. I can't off the top of my head remember how the guitar line goes in that. Is that just the chords there, Robbie? Omelette Socks. Nice profile name, by the way. What's the worst you've gotten zapped working on an amp? I was inspecting a tape deck, a friggin' cassette deck, which I don't do, and I told the bloke I don't want to do it, and he still insisted, and I'm like, I was about to tell him, listen, you need to take this thing, you need to leave, because I don't want you to pressure me to do something that I just told you I'm not interested in doing. And you're not my boss, you don't pay my rent, you didn't get me this ring, you didn't give birth to me, so I don't have to do what you tell me to, alright? But anyway, against my better judgment, I took this thing apart, and I'm pretty happy that's cool. Let's just turn that off, because that fan's starting to get annoying. Against my better judgment, I took the thing apart and checked it out for him, and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the tape mechanism. So I moved my head down, and I'm almost seeing it. I've got my torch, and I'm looking in, and I'm just trying to find what belt is broken or fallen off or whatever. in order to maybe see if we can even replace it or if we can even get our hands on one. And then my head went down and literally on my fucking temple touched the 240 volt stake-ons, which are it's one of those old Japanese decks that had like the wire wrap terminals for the mains on a circuit board, like staked connectors. And then they went wire wrap with wire wrap tool, and really good way of doing it, but over to the left with no protection at all, with the chassis off, I fucking literally gave my temple 240 volts. Yeah, won't do that again. I think he was even there when I did it too, so I really was in a bad mood after that, and I put it back together and said, mate, take it and fuck off. Told you I don't want to work on it. Stop begging. I've had a toaster oven send me across the kitchen. I think that was AC though. I've never had anything throw me like people say. I think the throwing, unless you're talking high voltage or I don't know. I think it's more like a reaction, like a physiological, like a emotional reaction to what you've just done. The throwing things when you get shocked. I've never had anything like cramp up or like people say you can't let go and shit. I've never had that, but it's not like you go around, oh, let's see if this is live. Fucking you sort of touch it with the back of your hand, that kind of thing, you know. I've had it. We're going to the mountains near Camp David for a little while, for a little over a week. Yeah, sweet. So what's on the pedal board, bro? And my day job now making molds for carbon fiber parts. That's awesome. Carbon fiber parts. I wonder what industry are you in there, Happy Harry? Totally unrelated, but just saw Alex Cameron. Alex Cameron. Monday night here in Portland, Oregon. He's a Sydney fella. That name rings a bell, but I couldn't pick who it is. Pretty fun show. 8 inches of snow in Anchorage. Friggin' hell. What are you doing in Florida, Mark? Don't forget to smash that like button, that's right. Thanks, Mark. Oh, he got hit by a 430 volts right off reserve cap once. Yeah. The thing with capacitors is they just dump their whole capacity across you as much as your resistance will allow anyway. Just the chords of werewolves, right. Travel board has a JEHS 3 series fuzz face clone, Nux blues breaker clone, polytune, ditto, so that's the polytune tuner from TC Electronic. Ditto is the... Is that the TC Electronic 2? Delay pedal? Lail, I don't know how to pronounce that. P-split for 2 amp wet dry. Plus, that's not exactly a travel rig there, Robbie. I hate to tell you, mate. I think you need to simplify that a bit. If you're going to travel, just take a modeler. Probably best option is one of those. Well, I'm a big fan of the oh no, I almost said Amplitube. Ampero. Hotone Ampero 1. AC does cause muscles to contract, but and stay contracted, so you can't let go. DC burns, but the muscles don't stay contracted, so you can get off. Really? I thought it was the other way around, because DC is like, will make you grip, whereas AC tries to make your muscles pulse at 50 times a second. Obviously, they can't do that. Well, you know, maybe James Hetfield's right arm can, but I can't. Got a Tonex pedal recently, and it sounds great. I've heard, was it Tonex? There's been quite a bit of discourse around their shit user interface and how unintuitive it is. Is that the brand? Making a full body kit for a 65 Porsche 911. Doing the door skin at the moment. Holy shit. That's amazing. full body kit. Carbon fiber. Man, that must be expensive. Carbon fiber's fucking... Yeah, it's more like a clean room environment than a workshop. Usually, from what I gather. I think I've just washed out a bit there. I'm gonna bring the light down a bit. It's a fine balance. Yeah, I've seen carbon fiber workshops, and like if you're doing proper engineering shit, you any contamination, it's like having a imperfection in metal, and it can break at that point. So everything's got to be so clean. I'm clinging tightly to my pod 2.0. All right, whatever works, bro. I've got the Valvetron GP200. It's great for a small board and can take amp captures. Oh, so it's got impulse modeling. This high fan isn't calming down very quickly. I've turned the output down to nothing. Must be a lot of latent heat. I can't feel a lot of airflow in this thing. It's a bit silly. So I guess I could crack it open again, but I really couldn't be fucked taking out a million screws. Essentially, they have a heat sink in this thing. Going this about here. And they've got a fan here. Blowing that way. They've got a vent at the end. And they've got a vent at the back. Right? But what happens when you don't have the fan right against the vent and the heat sink right against the other vent is that it allows air to circulate, and you get all these little eddy currents of air happening within the chassis. You don't get direct flow from input to output like you want. And I can't feel, holding my hand at the end there, I can't really feel much airflow at all. Come on, Penny boy, don't fuck with me. I wish I had the manual focus ring that the other Olympus Pro series has. Fucking hell, mate. Yeah, just stay there. So you get these eddy currents of air, and it's not a very efficient way of cooling it because a lot of that hot air flows back around throughout the amp. So many, almost all amp manufacturers seem to not understand how to get heat out of their components, and a lot of them blow up as a result. Some of them will have a heat sink inside an amp with no vents. It's like putting a bucket under a leak in the roof. Eventually the bucket overflows. You've got to get a pipe and take that fucking outside or something. You can't just rely on the thermal capacity of a larger mass of metal. You need to remove the heat from the environment and put it out in the atmosphere. So yeah, a lot of amps blow up as a result of poor thermal management, and it's not rocket science, but I guess a lot of the people designing it just either don't know or don't care or don't have the budget to think about it, or the management tells them to do stuff a certain way without knowing any better, and you just get stuff that blows up as a result. I like the Hotone stuff too. The Ampero pedal box is a great deal. I haven't seen that one. Ampero pedal box? Yeah, it's the 50 Hz that keeps the muscle stimulated, so you keep gripping. DC causes them to contract once, but there's no ongoing stimulation. Really? I thought a DC voltage would make your muscle, like, because it's constant current. I know DC burns, but I don't know, let's find out. No. The Tektronix one is my favourite buy in a while. I don't mind the interface so much, but the DRM is annoying to deal with when setting it up. Digital rights management? These are non-structural parts, luckily, so infusions and dust isn't as big a deal. It's clean, but not white room clean. It's all pre-preg. Ah, okay, so you open it up, and it's already got the epoxy in there, is it? And then what is it, like UV cured? How do you cure it if it's pre-impregnated? Pre-preg? I don't know. Inclusions, yeah. Infusions, yeah. Inclusions. I read it as inclusions, so my mind's fixing you. I think I'm so internet poisoned that my mind automatically fixes people's spelling and grammatical errors without thinking about it now. I know you guys are pretty smart, but if you ever venture out into the world wide web, let's call it that, and interact on some public forum, man, people are fucking barely literate, eh? And this is coming from an Aussie that's drunk most of the time. They are barely, like, there's no idea between the yours, there's no idea between the theirs, there's just no idea. Half the time you can't even read what they're fucking trying to tell you. And then they get frustrated because you're like, what? And they think you're offended because you're like, what did you just say? And it's like, no, I literally can't understand what you're trying to tell me because you're illiterate. It's kind of scary. Why isn't that heatsink switch turning off? Why is it still a fucking jet turbine? Come on. Turn off. Wasn't asking that much of you. Only 130 watts. It's like it's got PTSD from me using it to full power. Oh, it's so good. You ever had a coffee so good that you want to start your second coffee before you've even finished your first? I think I might be addicted. Come on, mate. Turn down. Oh, I'll set that aside just to make sure that switch goes back to its first position, and then if it does, we'll call it done. In the meantime, I need to sort some semiconductors. I've got this big box of semis that whenever I buy something for a job, they end up in here unsorted, neglected, but at least they're in their static proof bags, except for when you buy from Wes, because they don't give a fuck about static electricity. They seem to not think it exists, so they just give you shit in normal Ziplocs. Anyway, but yeah, whenever I order, you know, semiconductors, some of them they're like a matter of 10-20 cents each, depending on what they are. So if you need one or two of them, you order 10 of them, you stick them in stock, and then hopefully in the future they can assist you in repairing something rather quickly. But, you know, what really happens is you just end up dying with a massive horde of transistors that no one knows what the fuck they are, so they all get thrown in the bin. I built an oven big enough to take multiple moles. 120C for about 6 hours. Wow. George Carlin said, think of how dumb the average person is. Now think about the fact that half of all people are even dumber than that. Yeah. George Carlin was on his shit, man. He knew what was going to happen to the world that long ago. I've literally just started making my second coffee, and I'm taking the last sip of my first one while the machine warms up. You know what I'm talking about, brother. It's the Ampero Mini 1. Oh, Mini, I guess. Great value for utility effect pedal. It does like 8 blocks of effects and amps for just over 200 US. That, yeah, they're really good value, eh? I like the one with the little expression pedal. But, having said that, I probably wouldn't use one live. Just because if anything changes or it goes wrong, it's just too much fiddle fucking around with the menus and stuff. They've got a really good user interface and the touch screen, but even that's still a pain in the ass. I just, I don't know. I guess if I was in a band that needed a bunch of effects, I'd probably commit to it and just get it really dialed in and make sure you're just changing your banks and everything's pre-programmed in sequence of the set. But what happens if you decide to play a different song? You know, or someone requests something and the band goes, yeah, we'll play that, and you're like, whoa, hang on. I haven't got my effects set up. No one wants to hear that. You just sound like a little nerd. So yeah, just plug into an amp and just deal with it. That's what I do. But having said that, I'm not no one pays me to play gigs, so what do I know? Victor, sorry, I was at the store parking lot with my dogs in the car. I was saying earlier, my wife put a chili pepper in my food. The pepper was so hot I couldn't enjoy my food. Oh, come on, Victor, toughen up, mate. Wastfella, how you going? What's going on, Steve? Got to order a couple more bases off you guys, I think. I've just realised I've got no stingrays in the shop. I want to get something nice. Might get one of those burl ones. Got to go after a 5-string too, so I might get one of the 5 strings maybe. I want to get some FGNs again. They've fucking jacked the price up though. It's almost to the point where the distributor's about the same price as street price in Japan, so I may as well just order it from Ishibashi or something and get it shipped over. It's still about the same cost as ordering off the fucking distributor in Australia, but they are amazing bases. The Mighty Jazz with the open pore finish. It's a beautiful thing with EMG pickups. Yeah, anyway, I'm over my purchasing budget for the month, so fucking I'm not stocking up on anything at the moment. I already owe you enough money. Retail's a motherfucker, man. I use it as a utility if there's an analog pedal I don't have. Speaking of pedals, did I tell you guys about the, I think I showed you one or two, but Scotty from the Screaming Jets listed like 20 pedals, boutique, fucking high-end stuff. And I said, do you just want to get rid of them all at once, bro? Instead of dealing with 20 different fuckwits lowballing you? He said, yeah, right. So we did a deal. Now I've got 20 of Scotty's pedals. Most of them overdrive pedals. There's a few. There's a rotating speaker one, Leslie simulator thing. There's a delay pedal. I think that's it in terms of the mod pedals. But most of them are overdrive or boost pedals. There is a nice clean boost called Elephant Man, which might be good for my 18-watt Marshall just to push the front end. Anyway, long story short, I might do a epic tear down comparison video. Maybe do a live stream where we take every pedal apart, have a look at the build construction quality, and have a quick listen. I don't think I'll be playing for that one because it's too much of a fuck about. If we're doing like 20 pedals, I need to go bang 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 quick. So I might get my looper pedal and record a few presets on that. Something that will represent the wide range of pedals on tap, and we'll do a quick comparison video, and I can edit that out to some shorts. I know you like looking at my shorts. There you go. Yeah, mainly I just want to get inside these pedals and have a look at how they're built, because there's a few ones that I can smell boutique bullshit from 2 miles away. So that should be fun. Yeah, it depends what peppers they use, Victor. If you're using jalapenos or something, which is what you should be using in a chili, it's pretty mild. It's only when you're breaking out like the habaneros that it starts to get a bit spicy, and then like the ghost peppers and Carolina Reapers and shit that it just becomes chili champion, chili hero fucking sport game stuff. Eye candy for shop display for a while too. Yeah, I've got some pro audio stuff in the front case, but I might put that somewhere else on a different display, and just fill the front case with a fuck ton of pedals. Yeah, pedal guys buy and sell pedals like crazy, eh? It's like a currency. So every now and then you find like a bulk. Like guys tend to hoard them, and then eventually they, oh fuck, I'm behind on rent. How about I sell them with pedals, and they sell like 20 pedals at once? Or I'm not saying that's what happened with Scotty, but you see these listings all the time online, and there'll be like 10, 15 pedals for sale all at once. So they're just clearing their hoard, which is a good thing to do because you can't take it with you when you die. And they do look pretty. It's funny, the prettiest ones after me having a play through them actually sounded the worst. It's like they need to compensate for their lack of electronics design skills by just making it super pretty. Why the fuck is that fan not turning down? It's still going. Bro, cool your jets. Just goes to show how inefficient that airflow is. Maybe I'll make a little air director sort of flap in there, a little bit of folded aluminium, just to direct the air to and from the vents. That'll make it much more efficient. It's probably why it blew up in the first place. Fucking, you can lead a horse to water, mate, but you can't make him design a good amp, eh? Not with those fucking hooves. So where were we? Talking about pedals? I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on. What do we want to look at? We've got 3 ancient amps, solid state ones. We've got some reissue Marshalls, which are on top, so I might be inclined to look at them first. We've got a Warwick there, which needs more parts, so I can't do anything with that at the moment because I attempted to repair on that yesterday and it got better, but there's still something way off in the output stage that's throwing the output devices into conduction when it shouldn't. So at low voltages, this is another reason why using a variac's a good idea. So why do I look yellow all of a sudden? When you use a variac on a... So basically a variac is used to establish whether or not there's a fault at lower voltages that won't trigger that fault to cause more damage, if we're going to be real about it. You can use it in any device that doesn't have a switch mode power supply, essentially. Particularly PA stuff. A lot of devices these days have what we call an automatic or a universal switch mode supply. I feel like I went a bit too far there with the white balance. So they can function at full power at any voltage between like 90 and 250 volts. So if you're using a variac, nothing happens, and then at 90 the switch mode supply turns on and fires the whole device up to full power, and then of course whatever fault you're trying to find blows up again. So there is that. But with a linear power supply, you can use the variac to slowly increase your voltage from the wall, and then if there's a short, you can see using your brain box. Okay, I should have plus minus 15 volts there at 240 volts, but that's post regulator, so I won't have anything there until I pass the dropout voltage of the regulator. But I should have some voltage on the input of the regulator, so I can measure a proportion of that voltage, see if there's no voltage present there, something's wrong pre-regulator. So just a bunch of logical steps you have to take if you're using a variac to be able to fault find. As you slowly increase the voltage, things won't linearly increase the power draw from the wall. But if you get them, like, say you've got stuff like Zeners, they won't start to regulate or conduct until you hit a certain voltage. So you'll get a sudden peak there at some voltage thresholds as regulators kick in. Things like heaters might draw a lot of current initially, but then calm down once they warm up. You just got to be cognizant of all this stuff as you're using a variac to slowly increase the voltage. But what we use it for is to establish primarily if there's a massive increase in current at very low voltages. That means you've got a hard short somewhere, usually in the primary or immediately in the secondary of the linear power supply. Say like shorted diodes, a shorted cap, shorted transformer, that kind of thing. Whereas if you power that straight up, you're just going to keep blowing fuses, and the fuse will blow before you even have a chance to measure anything and find out what's going on. So that's the main reason I use a variac anyway. Some guys use the dim bulb testers. I think that's a bit of an imprecise way of doing it. Judging perceptively the glow brightness of a bulb, I'd rather slowly increase the voltage from the wall and then monitor the power consumption from the wall or the current from the wall. And you just have to do it a few times before you get a feel for it, and it does react differently on different devices and how they're like a massive bass amp will have a huge inrush because of the massive caps and huge transformer. Where a small little practice amp would be barely noticeable, that kind of thing. You just gotta, you know, do it a bunch of times and then you get your head around it. I got no idea why that fan's not turning off. It's not cold now, but it should be below the threshold temperature. I think it was only 60 degrees or something, that switch. Go Marshall. Okay, I will. Darren, thank you. What do we want? Silver Jubilee? Cute little amp. Workbench. Zoom out. Alright. Got a Silver Jubilee 2525H Studio here. Alright, just realised I probably want to do some video edited from this live stream, if I can. So that fan is an issue because of the background noise, so let me turn that off. I'll suss that out later, but it's almost like that thermal switch. The one I replaced wasn't turning on, and the one I replaced it with isn't turning off. That's weird. So let me do a quick little cut. G'day champions, we've got a Silver Jubilee 2525H Studio here. Little cute Marshall head. And it's come in with a complaint of... still got the plastic over the rear cover. I just realised the stickers and everything are under this layer of protected plastic. I guess maybe the customer doesn't even know it's there. Let me look up the job sheets. I won't dox my customer here. Such an overused word. So it's come in with complaints of output level fluctuation and oscillation at power up occasionally. So let's chuck it on the signal generator and we'll see if we can trigger that fault before we even open it and go from there. Alright, so powering her up. It's got a three-way switch, two different power levels, standby in the center. On the standby switch, they name it an output switch, but yeah, it goes low, standby, and high. We got Mike on the cab. Yep. G'day, Mike. Got the Motu? No, not plugged in. Bear with me. We've got Motu. Mark of the Unicorn. I wonder where they came up with that name from. It's probably some mythical shit. I don't know. GUI tar pick. I'll get my signal generator. I wouldn't call it music generator with my current skill level. Front panel's a bit like it's got some play, like the chassis's loose. Interesting. Alright, high power. Alright, that's my jack on the guitar. So let's not blame the amp for that one. haven't changed anything, and now it's reset itself. Why does the mute button not work? Need to attach it to the fucking app and refresh it, blah blah blah. Dunno, sounds alright to me. Now we start down the... Why is the gain now lower? Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. I just can't figure out why shit's changing on this. Is it... Now it's gone up again. Is it my cable? Is it the fucking app? Hey, yeah. Now it's distorting. I couldn't make it distort before. Hang on. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I don't know what's going on. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Test, test, hey, yeah. Test, test, hey, yeah. Test, test, hey, yeah. I think this meter... I think the metering is shit. Is it cutting out? Is it cutting out? Why is it down to minus 20 dB again? And then it was back up again. Okay, I think my cable's fucking up. Testing here. Let me put it up here. I've got two cables that are fucked. The guitar cable and the mic cable. I don't think there's anything wrong with that amp. Hello? Hello? Live streaming is a fucking shit fight. Don't bother doing it anymore. It's a waste of time. Soldering is still fine. Is it the socket? Let me try the other one. Hey, yeah. Oh, now it's too loud. Testing here. Testing here. Testing here. I wonder if the input jack's fucked on the other one. Here. So maybe that's why the distortion was coming and going. Huh. Testing here. Alright. Wonder if you can even repair one of these. Interesting. Now it's clipping. Limiter, compressor, makeup gain. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. That's better. Alright. It's only because I'm reading the meter on the OBS. Alright, so that one's suspect. I'll put a bit of tape on that so I'll remember which one it is because they otherwise look identical. And then I'll replace the fucking plug on my guitar lead, which I've been meaning to do for several millennia. I'm a wizard. I'm a wizard, Harry. But overall, I don't think there's anything wrong with the amp. We'll dig a bit deeper though. Just bear with me. So this cable's copped it. It's the main one I use for guitar, and it seems to have lost its reliable connection to ground. I can't find a good reason why. It still seems sturdy. And if you hold a meter on it, she doesn't seem to drop out. Don't know, it's weird. Could just be surface corrosion. Maybe it's in the I went to say input jack. All my customers talk about the output jack on a guitar as an input jack, and then when I ask them why, they say it's because it's where you plug in to the jack. And it's like, well, every jack's a fucking input jack then, because it so every female socket is an input jack in that case. Musicians are dumb, man. You should tape the Lav Mic to a drumstick. It won't make it sound any better, but it will aggravate Lyle. They don't have to hold it all the time. Lyle's barely ever here anyway. He's always too busy. So what I want to do is just check the effects loop on this one. Get down there, you pain in the ass. And then we'll take it open and have a quick look, but I just want to check the effects loop jacks aren't playing up, because intermittent losses of gain is often the normaling contacts on a effects loop. turn the master down, because that will be loud as shit. Okay, that does seem very low now. What just happened there? Ah, FX loop. Ah, problem reveals itself, champions. Yeah, so finally we got an issue that actually occurred on the bench. We just saw it with our own 2 ears. Or however many ears you have, I don't know. Might have been in a chopper type situation at some point. And I also heard some ringing. Almost sounded like a microphonic valve, or possibly those contacts in the effects loop. Backfield in motion. Huh? Rip ears. Well, you know, that's what your volume control's for, eh? What makes designing a transparent loop so hard? Seems like amp makers make a big deal of it when they have a good... And then he said rip ears. Have a good one. The best thing is just having your impedances correct. They often will use a cathode follower, and then they'll throw a cap or something in line with it, and the value of which cripples the low impedance drive that they just suggested using. Have a read of Merlin Blenkow's designing preamplifiers for guitar and bass, and his effects loop. He doesn't call them effects loop, he calls them line outs, because he doesn't do the return. I don't know why. I guess the return's just another gain stage like the front end of an amp. But he's got a really good article and shows some examples of the mistakes that the manufacturers of major brands, the major manufacturers make, including Mesa Boogie, Peavey, and a few others. I think Orange was as close as it got to good. Yeah, one of the brands anyway was like close, but not quite 100%. But yeah, some of them were just like drastic. Like you could see they had the right idea, and they started designing it correctly, and then they absolutely crippled themselves by some stupid decision further down the line. Biggest thing you want is low impedance drive, high current capability, and then low noise on the return. Check out his site too. Valve Wizard covers most of the on that topic. Most of the on that. You really got to work with me, champions. I'm trying to read this shit as I'm working. You got to make it easy to read. I'm getting old. I don't have much years left. We fired up the signal generator into a PA speaker that I was working on while Dad was here, and I'm down to, I think it was 18 kilohertz, and Dad's down to like 8. Sorry, Dad. No treble for you. Come back 1 year. A little brain fart. Yeah, it happens. Not singling you out there, coolest McGuy. But oh, this has been opened before. Either that or stripped from the factory. And just sometimes I glance at stuff and it really makes me feel like I'm still half asleep, because it's super hard to read some of the comments, and then I realised, oh, they had some issues with the grammar, and it's not really my fault. Does make me feel very semi-drunk when I try and read some of the comments, however. We have Freedom, Horrible Freedom. So we started watching, Michelle jumped on the I don't know, Netflix, whatever the fuck it is, last night, because she wanted to watch Casino Royale. You know when you watch a movie with your missus, right? Before you decide which movie to watch, it's a bit like asking them what restaurant they want to go to. You can tell what one they want. So I wanted to watch an old Bond movie, but with Sean Connery. But you could tell she suggested Casino Royale. And then I said, what about this one? And she's like, oh yeah. And you could see her hovering over Casino Royale. And that's what we ended up watching. But then some listing came up for an old Casino Royale, but the listing was incorrect because it said that Sean Connery was in it. And then we found out there's an old Casino Royale from 1967 or 66 or something, but it was a parody of James Bond films, and it had an Australian actor, I forget his name, but it was a piss take of James Bond, and it was set like after James Bond had like retired, and he was in his like, you know, his manor, his large property and whatever, and he was a hoity-toity wanker, but he had to come back and do like one last mission because the whole world was about to collapse or whatever. So these guys came from like all over the world and like all different countries that are normally at war with each other, and they got together just to try and convince James Bond to come back and do one more job. It was pretty funny for a while, but yeah, it got old pretty quick. So we ended up canning that and going back and watching Casino Royale with Eva Green. I'll never get sick of watching her. Peter Sellers, that's it. On your Dr. Gear, how you going? How you going, 6? Have you seen that movie, 6? The Casino Royale from the 60s? It's pretty funny, but there's a little bit of pedophilic stuff in it that's not really cool in this day and age, and not sure it was ever cool, but anyway, moving on. It's a different time, man. Was it though? Was it really? Morning, Alan. How are you, legend? Burt Bacharach did the music. Yeah. From the 60s. Woody Allen is a villain. Yeah, we didn't get that far. But I saw Woody Allen and I was like, don't really want to watch him either. It was a hard watch, exactly. But you can see how they influence so much. Yeah. The noise and smoke of a casino is nauseating at 3 a.m. James Bond suddenly knew that he was tired. Opening lines to the original novel. There you go. You can't, I don't know, can you smoke in any casinos anymore? I'm sure if you've got enough money you can do whatever the fuck you want, but Peter Sellers' film Being There is brilliant. Oh, I'll have to check that out. I don't know much about him at all, to be honest. Alright, so I like these amps. I've had a lot of amps recently that I've been praising, and I get no credit for praising anything. People just go, oh, you just hate all amps. You're just a hater. Every time, where are those fuckwits? Every time I praise an amp, like that orange that I posted the other day on Facebook. They're nowhere to be seen, champions. They're only there when they look up an amp they just bought to reaffirm how much of a good special smart boy they are for buying that amp, and then when they find out maybe it's not the best amp, they turn into a little crying piss baby. But I'm sure all you other techs can attest to that. I rewatched Battle Royale the other night with the missus. Classic piece of satire. I haven't seen that. I know nothing of it, but anything you enjoy, 6, I will look into, because you're a smart man, and we have similar tastes. Maybe not the anime stuff, but which is another thing we've got to talk about. I want to do a stream with Six where because I know nothing about anime or manga or any Japanese. I don't know, they're just cartoons to me. So I want Six to explain it to me like I'm 12, and maybe I'll understand it. So for all you boomers out there that don't get the weeb stuff, Six is a bit of a weeb, so he can explain it to us all, and we can all learn together. Because he's a smart man. In Nevada, you can still smoke. Really? Was it Peter Sellers in the original Pink Panther? Hey, actually, he was, wasn't he? We were sitting there watching that movie, and I said to Michelle, if there's a 10-year-old kid in this movie, that kid would be 70 now. We're like, fuck. I think the thing that's so shocking about current times and the era that we're in right now is we're at the point where the people are starting to die that were basically children when, like, high definition, like good, well, let's say high definition, it's on film, high definition video and movies and stuff, like, frozen in time. As if you were there, like high quality audio, high quality video, as if it could have been filmed yesterday. The people that were children then are now like 80. And it's pretty mind-blowing. It's like recorded music too. You boomers, when you were my age, the recordings from 30 years ago were shit. Whereas recordings from 80 years ago... 80 years ago now, or well, I'm fucking up my math, but you know what I'm saying. When you're a kid, it was extremely lo-fi. When I was a kid, it was as if it was recorded yesterday, and the quality hasn't improved since. Say 80s, 90s, I'd say early 90s, maybe even 70s if you go on like jazz and classical, which they didn't have the fucking cringeworthy production of the 70s and 80s. A jazz recording from the 60s, well done, like, you know, Dave Brubeck, whatever, could have been recorded yesterday and it would sound exactly the same. So there's like a timelessness to the art that we consume that makes it shocking how quickly time passes. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. Let me know if you don't. Like, a perfect example was watching Get Back. These guys in their 20s, attractive, you know, influential, amazing, inspirational people. And it looked like it could have been recorded yesterday. There was nothing really that dated that movie or that documentary until you saw all the suits behind the camera. Those guys were just wearing sweaters and jeans, smoking cigarettes. The only thing missing was like mobile phones. But if you chucked a mobile phone in their hand, that could be a hipster band from down the road now. They didn't look of that era. They're using the same amps that we use now, silver face Fenders. You know, there was nothing that really dated them. Even their hair and shit looked just like a raggedy rock star. It's only when the camera turned around and you saw the people behind the camera and the stupid clothes and shit they were wearing, and the dumb hairdos that all the management fuckwits had, that you realised what the era it was in. And the fact that everyone in the room was smoking. But aside from that, that could have been recorded like yesterday, and you wouldn't have batted an eyelid if you didn't know who they were. Anyway, I'm rambling. I stuck a power tube cut on my 6G6B and pulled the 4700 tail resistor on the presence, then grounded the opposite lug. I've got to think about this. Grounded the opposite lug. Holy moly, Chime City. Okay, so you basically turned the presence all the way up. SNL did a skit where somebody went into an isolation tank and came out as altered statesman Richard Nixon. What? I first got into anime when my 35-year-old son was 10. Never looked back. My 15-year-old twins watch the Crunchy Roll channel almost every day. I'll take your word for it. Japanese movie from 2000 about totalitarian Japanese government making school kids battle to death on an island. Well, you know, there's always next week, eh? Peter Sellers' Casino Royale is a classic. Never saw the need for the remake. Haven't actually seen the new one. It's not a remake, Robbie. It's like literally a whole movie. I don't know if they called it Casino Royale to take the piss, because the piss taking one was called Casino Royale. I don't know. But yeah, Casino Royale in the hands of like Mel Brooks would have been fucking amazing. It doesn't quite hold out like Blazing Saddles and stuff still does, but yeah. Pardon me. In my humble opinion, there are subtle differences between music recorded on analog tape versus digital tape or digital audio workstation. A good example is the difference between early REM and later REM. I don't know, there's too many, like, you can't compare two albums recorded at a different time, Robbie. The only way you could compare directly is if it was mastered, you know, directly to tape, or like recorded, tracked exactly the same to tape and digital at the same time. But even still, man, like, the reason tape sounds the way it is because they push it beyond its limits. The quality of the Blue Note recordings from the 50s, 60s is incredible. Rudy Van Gelder has an amazing ears and recording technique. There was so much money in the industry back then too. That's the other thing. You know, it was of money was no object in a lot of those situations. Whereas these days, yeah, it is. There's like no money in the music industry anymore unless you're a fucking used as a marketing tool for fucking watches and clothes and shit. Oh, okay. Casino Royale was the name of the Bond book. The 60s movie somehow got the rights to the name. Made it a parody. I wonder what backroom deals happened there. The new version with Daniel Craig is a proper Bond movie. Yeah, Daniel Craig was fucking amazing, man. Like, I know there's Bond purists out there that no, he's not. But he was fucking incredible. It took realism into it, and, well, sort of, you know, over the top. Not like Fast and the Furious ridiculous, but still a bit ridiculous. And M, she was so good in that. Oh fuck, forgotten her name. The actress. How could I forget her name? She looks like my mum. Looks a bit more angry than mum though. Mum's got a friendlier face. Going into an isolation tank for a while. Never came out as Nixon. Skyfall, yeah, that was amazing. Eva Green's by far the hottest Bond chick ever though. I don't care what anyone says. Alright, let's see what this thing's freaking out about. Just grab a speaker. I think I need a longer IEC lead. Plus the Chris Cornell theme tune. The Jack White one was pretty good too. I did like the was the other one by what's her name? The whiny chick. Okay, I'm making zero exceptions to shipping to the US from now on. Absolute nightmare. Judy Dench, that's it. What happened, Six? Tell us. Shipping to the US is not an option at the moment. I don't have all day to fucking fill in forms and shit to make $3 profit. and then have to reconcile all the different fees and start accounts for the different fucking blood suckers that are taking their cut from every little fucking fee that's charged. Fuck that. You guys need to sort your shit out. Sucks, man. I've spent all that time developing those boards and then straight away, I shouldn't have bothered. Why do we bother fucking doing anything? Every time you put the work in and come up with a solution for something, the fucking market just gets cut out from underneath you and you may as well not even fucking got out of bed that day. In the back of my head when I was designing those boards, I'm thinking something's going to fuck this up. It's not going to keep selling. Something's going to make it not worthwhile, because that's just how my life fucking is. And then of course, yeah, retarded senile fucking president kicks in and fucks it all up. I don't care what anyone's got to say about it. If you don't like me saying that, fuck off from my channel. I won't miss you. I'll be glad to have you gone. Alright, signal. Someone was commenting the other day about, oh, you're gonna alienate your channel. You know, you're whinging about losing viewers. I never whinged about losing viewers. I don't give a flying fuck. I'd be doing the same shit here if I had 3 viewers. In fact, the less there is, the easier it is to manage and remember everyone's name, and that's perfect. Sent the guitar to the US, attached all the paperwork to the box, all declarations were done. UPS requires the customer's tax details. What? And a copy of the documents, the ones that are on the box. Holy fuck. What a fucking nightmare, 6. Jesus Christ, fuck that. Hopefully the tariff madness will end soon. De minimis exception is another problem though. Yeah, that's why everyone's here, because I like the honesty. I'm not gonna since when have you seen me do a promotion spot? I don't give a fuck about my commercial viability. I don't care about that shit. I've got a real job. I don't make a living off YouTube. So I really don't care what anyone has to say. The customer has to holy shit, the customer has to liaise with the UPS and has been passed through 3 people and all kinds of shit, just beyond a joke. So they've got to ring, they've got to talk to the UPS. How the fuck is this going to work en masse? All of these hours gone on behalf of you, the customer, the fucking UPS and all the different people in the call center. How the fuck is this sustainable? That is one shipment. You guys are really going to see what is up come Christmas. There won't be a fucking Christmas over there, because no one will ship anything to you. Why the fuck would we go through all of this shit to make $3 profit? There goes the profit margin. Why would we do it? It's not worth it. It's a fucking waste of time. If it wasn't for the fact it's a $4,000 guitar, I wouldn't have even bothered. Yeah, even then, $4,000 guitar, you probably just lost the fucking profit margin there. They want our social security number for all... What? Social security number? That's like secret, yeah? Last thing I wanted to give anyone and put it on a form. Holy fuck. So they're just using it to mine your data. It doesn't work at all. That's the point. Yeah. You aren't going to have a Christmas, so... That's alright. Less consumerism. It's probably... Maybe it's like... Maybe they're like secret communists, and all the shit they're doing is just trying to make it so you can't buy anything. I'm buying my wife gruel for Christmas. Nice. Bit of cinnamon on top of that gruel. You'll be fine, Wes. 20 years ago, I bought a bunch of stuff from Australia. DHL was dependable back then. Don't know about now. It's not DHL's fault though, Chris. It's fucking the shit. They've got to deal with it just as much as we do. There goes their profit margin too. So they'll probably just stop doing shit. UPS sucks for sending stuff to the USA. Just bought 5 encoders for a Yamaha A5000 from TME, and FedEx got them through. FedEx are still an option here. I think Ozpost has opened up again, but I'm just not interested in going down to it. It's just Man, I am so pinned to the wall with shit to do. I don't need to spend literally an hour doing admin to ship something to make $50 profit. It's just a fucking waste of time, so I'm not interested. I just have to deal in the local market and Europe and New Zealand. I'm getting some sales to quite a few more to Europe and Canada, and so they're not an issue. Belgium too. Had a few orders from Belgium recently, and yeah, we'll just move on without yous. You don't want to be part of the world, so you can fuck off, essentially. The SSN is the tax ID that Six is talking about. SSN, social security number. Oh, tax ID. Oh, right. So it's like our tax file number, TFN. One of the many reasons I'm here is for the honesty of the language and technology next. People get on my case for swearing, but it's like, dude, have you ever met an Australian? Like, get out of your bubble. It took a while, but I had something sent from the States to Australia and received a box from Australia in the last week. I had to unblock my credit card to buy from Australia, but a lottery from England. Is that someone here? What are the aircon guys doing? They're supposed to be closed today. Working Saturdays. UPS, FedEx, DHL, doesn't matter, it's the US government's bullshit. Yeah. Nothing like losing your job to get you realise you don't really need to buy much. Yeah. Sending my love, it's free and immediate. Thank you, Chris. Legend. Absolutely, those companies don't want to deal with this shit either. It's the government. Yep. And the shutdown's only going to make things worse. Right now I can't purchase the new Zilla cabs. Oh, Zilla cabs are so good, Robbie. I drool over their cabs quite often. They inspire me to make more cabs, actually. I should make more. Why is the fucking thing washed out again? Is my ISO changing? I don't know. Got a pedal and kit on the... Got a pedal and kit on the 2, the UK. Got a pedal and kit on the 2, the UK from the US, and the guy who sent it already told me it could take months. When I ordered £12 worth of op amps, came within days. Doesn't make sense. Well, it depends where it's coming from, I guess. £12 of op amps from the UK? I don't know, man. It's just a crapshoot at the moment. SSN is like our nation insurance number. Insurance number. I don't know what that means. DHL was used to send to Australia. Feel sorry for half the US. Correction, Darren Hayward. 3/4 of the US because of the electoral college. You might want to look into that. Good morning, TK. How you going, legend? I've been watching a few of your videos recently. I should comment more. Sorry, I often do it just in my earpiece while I'm doing other stuff. Bought lottery tickets from England. You can buy lottery tickets from other countries? Really? I thought there was like laws against that. I never even thought about that. At least there seems to be a modicum of sanity in the US given the success of recent elections. Mamdani's win was brilliant. Yes, it was. What a speech, man. Yes, but UPS has been tossing import packages rather than processing them. So they just throw them in the bin. It's too hard. Just throw them out. What happens to the shipping insurance companies when all the packages go missing and they've got to pay out insurance claims? Do they just not honour it? So then people will realise that the insurance on the shipping doesn't mean fuck all because they just don't honour it. So then there'll be court cases left, right and centre. And then they'll just go bankrupt and then there'll be no insurance and then there'll just be no shipping at all. Yay. I love my Zilla mini stacks of 2x12s. Want a pair of 1x12s to take outside the house. Have to wait until the madness is over. Yeah. Where are you, Robbie? I might be able to find you a local cabinet maker that can sort you out. Anyway, now I've, according to that previous commenter, alienated 70% of my audience. I don't think so. I don't think 70% of my audience is that stupid. I'd like to give more credit than that. But anyway. Why has it gone back to top, chat? Come on, man. Alright. Let's get back to work, eh? Alright, so we've got something microphonic or something intermittent, and it was ringing and attenuating the signal. So my initial suspicion was the effects loop jack. Return jack in particular. Workbench. There we go. So you can see these are actually pretty nicely made circuit boards. They've got good margins. They've got thick copper. Through hole plated. It's only actually 1.6 mil. 1.6 mil. Yep. Looks a little thicker though. Not 2 mil, but you got PCB mounted valve sockets. So that's it's not the end of the world if you got through plated holes and thick copper. You can use a circuit board almost like a heatsink too if you have a large copper plane there. But being a head format with the valves pointing upwards, heat getting its way into the circuit board is less critical. You often get combos with circuit board mounted output valves, and they cook the board a bit. Sometimes that results in conductivity. Other times they can look like literally charcoal and they still don't conduct, like some of the messes, the Studio series in particular, Caliber series, sorry. But in a head format, the heat's coming away from the valve going upwards. Sure, some's conducted into the pins, but much less than rises convectively from the valves. So not the end of the world as long as they mount them correctly. And in this case, they've mounted the valve socket to the chassis with screws, so not a lot of scope for movement at all there. And then they've soldered to the board, which is mounted on standoff. So not a bad way of doing it. It's pretty good. All the dropper resistors, might not be able to see there from this angle, but all the dropper resistors are lifted off the board by a good 3/4 of an inch. So twofold, dissipates heat from the droppers, and if anything does go short circuit and they burn, it won't burn the board underneath it. They've used metal film, which is good, and carbon film for the plate loads, which is my go-to. They've used, looks like, probably 2-watt metal films for the droppers, all the way up to the first node, or I should say the last node, the preamp. And they've used what looks like probably 1-watt carbon films for the plate loads. So good work, Marshall. The reissues of the Jubilee, both this and the 100-watt head, and the reissues of the the 800 and the 1959, etc., are probably the only amps I can recommend from them after recent issues we've had with the DSL series, the DSL 40 in particular. The DSL 20 is a bit of a joke. The Origin series is a massive joke. Don't even think about them. If they work for you, they work for you, but they're nothing like any Marshall that Marshall ever made. Yeah, I don't know why they call it Origin when it's nothing like any amp they've ever made. Doesn't seem logical to me. But yeah, these are pretty good. The boards are great. Transformers are made in Vietnam now, but they work. I haven't had any issues with them so far. So thanks, Brad's Guitar Garage. I'm on the east coast of the US, though. I am a loyal customer of Paul's, and we'll wait for the crazy to end. All right. Well, it'll just make it all the much sweeter when it does arrive, Robbie, so good luck with that. If it was the millions of centrist Democrats and independents who couldn't bring themselves to vote for a woman and sat it out that got us into this shit, I don't know, man. There's going to be post-mortems on this fucking era for the rest of our lives and several lives after. Now, if the world would stop buying Teslas, yeah, that'd be good. Fucking... Billionaires shouldn't exist, let alone fucking trillionaires. It blows my mind. Insane. It's not billions, Chris. It's a trillion. It's not billions. It's fucking 1,000 billions. Insanity. Gilded Age ain't got shit on this 6. I just don't know how this is going to end. Line go up exponentially. What happens then? You divide it by 0. It's just, I don't know, man. It's getting harder and harder to think about where this shit's going to end up. Anyway. Basil, wasn't it you that was challenging me about supposedly alienating my viewers? Was it you that commented? Blame voters for not exactly being excited about voting for a party who propped up a genocide in broad daylight. Yeah, I agree with that too. Send them to Mars. I think that's their plan, Chris. I don't know. Who fucking knows what's going to happen, but I'll probably still be here working on amps. Alright, high output. Alright, we're getting the full output this time. Sorry, I might just mute that Mo2 for a moment. Yeah. Yeah, it's the better of two evils, eh? I love antagonizing anyone I can. Well, that's your first strike. Rhythm clip. Alright, so let's give the valves a massage. Alright, so none of them are microphonic. Let's just turn that off for a sec. Shush. Crank it up a bit. Crackling. Sounds like there's a thunderstorm. You hear that? Alright, let's monitor the output bias. I was watching the meter on the wall and there was no fluctuations, but I think one of the valves might be jumping around a bit. It sounds a bit to me like output stage. Well, no, it can't be because it came up when I increased the gain. So I think we might have a microphonic failing 12x7. Let's pull that one. See if the noise goes away. Yes, it does. It's a Marshall ECC83. Looks it's a JJ's. Dated not 2023. So we'll just pop in a known good one if I got one. My guitar gently screams. Alright, shut up for a sec. Amplifier. Align the pins. I need to get under it and have a look here. Could be something as simple as a failing preamp valve. Let that warm up. Noise gone. His microphonics gone. Alright, so we'll combine that with a general service. And I think we're in the clear for that one. Amazing. Amazeballs. The general service will include cleaning the effects loop jacks, which were also presenting a few issues. But finally we've got one that's not a full-on... Well, you know, modern amps generally they're just something, usually a valve. Someone commented recently that why'd the valve fail, and I said, well, it's like your light bulb, they're in a socket for a reason. Sometimes they just fail. And the manufacturing quality of them ain't what it used to be, so sometimes they fail for no reason at all. Just because they're low quality. That's a 2023 valve preamp, not really in a stressful position, and it's already gone. So that's what we're dealing with. Alright, 6 is on a debating tip. Had that distorted thunderstorm noise come from an amp recently. Couldn't find it on the scope. Turns out it was short in the voice coil of the speaker. And OT screaming for mercy. Really? Huh. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, that's a unique one. Normally it's... Well, what you could have been hearing, unless you... if you couldn't find it on the scope, it's either oscillating above the frequency of the scope or the inductance of the circuit. Or it's, yeah, I don't know, that's a weird one. Have you got a channel rebopper? Alright, what do we want to do next? We'll do another Marshall. So what's this one coming for? Oof. Let's look up the job sheet, one moment. What's the best made production amp you've ever been in? Don't know, there's quite a few good ones. Basil? Value for money, Vox AC30C2 and AC15, is it C2? C1? Something, I don't know. They're really good value for what they are. Like I said, the orange, really well built. The Jubilee's well built. The Marshall reissues are well built. Fender reissues, don't even think about it. They're dog shit. Bogner's well built. Some questionable choices, but executed well. Friedman, really well done. Hughes and Kettner have some gems, as well as some fucking over-featured, crazy fucking things that you probably shouldn't consider buying. Oh, I see email. Pfft. Damn it. No channel, I should start that. There you go. That's exactly why they did it, in order to make the case it should be broken up and privatised. Yeah, man. Privatising is a main reason that life's getting worse. I'm well built, but I won't amplify your signal. You kind of do, Wes. You do just by being here, buddy. Thanks. It's always good to see your name. How's the new job going, bro? I meant to ask you that. See, if I had a massive channel, like people seem to think that I want to have, I wouldn't know about Wes and his recent job, new job. But I don't have a massive channel, so I know that he just got a new job, and I want to know how it's going for him, mate. That's the personal touch you get on Brad's Guitar Garage. Alright, so I've got to open my email, so the computer's going to be extremely slow doing that. In the meantime, my Seiko Sportsmatic restoration job has just been finished. I got a message on my phone yesterday afternoon that it's ready for pickup. So I'm really looking forward to getting that back. I've ordered a custom strap, as I think I discussed in the last stream, from Artisan Straps in Sydney, custom made to my specs and colours, and that should be here in 2 weeks. The watch was scheduled for pickup next week, next Saturday, but he's done it a week early. I really am disappointed in him for that, because he's making me feel bad about my lead times on repairs, because he did it a week before schedule. And I usually do it a month after schedule, because I'm too busy fucking live streaming. So I'm really looking forward to getting that watch back and seeing what he's done to it. It's going to be really cool. Hi Brad, my Marshall DS5 has the same issue again that you previously worked on. Okay, hang on. I've got a previous message. I've got a 4 to 5 year old Marshall DSL5 that has gone quiet and crackles. I'm guessing it was a valve replacement time. Hopefully this is something you will be okay to cover off for me, unless something comes up. We'll be aiming, yeah, blah blah blah. Alright, so I didn't replace a valve. It was a cable that had a fatigued contact, and the valve was okay. Alright, so he said it's got the same issue as last time, although with amps, a lot of the time the symptom will be the same for multiple different causes. So crackling, loss of signal, loss of level, maybe hum. There's like 100 different things that could cause that, which is why a lot of the time when a customer comes in and they self-diagnose the amp, I sort of have to say, look, it's not, it could be the valves, but there's every chance it's anything but the valve too. So they often tell me to change the valve. It's like, well, why? Oh, because it's got low signal. I'm like, okay, but that's probably not a valve. Like, it could be a valve, but it could very well not be a valve too. Do you want me to diagnose it instead? And they're like, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, okay. Does anyone have thoughts on the new Synergy Marshall JMP module? On the surface, I'm thinking they're likely to make a better Marshall than Marshall. Yeah, it's pretty likely, Robbie. I haven't dealt with any Synergy modules yet. Do they have like a head receiver unit for it? I probably should get one just so I can test them and play with them, but they're pretty expensive. Brad should start a Discord so us lunatics can stay in contact anytime we want. Yeah, I've got a Discord. Just look it up under Brad's Guitar Garage. There are four or seven of us on it, and it would be great to have more. Yeah, I've got to put more effort into it, but I just so stuck for time, man. I log into it like once a month. Sorry about that. Any experience with diesel amps? Yeah, I do. See previous streams. It's not good. Eyeing up a Big Max, which is supposedly a bit like a 50-watt JCM 800. Great for my living room, eh? Look, I think it's almost like they're different amps are made at different factories. So it depends on what amp you get. The VH, is it VH4? I was extremely unimpressed by. Colin, thanks, mate. Thanks for being you. And I can actually see the little pear figure looking at himself in the mirror. They're cute. He's got his little running band on his head. I don't know why Lyle can't see them. Maybe it doesn't come up on his app that he uses, but I'm looking on my phone too. Got to get back to work. 3 SVT3 Pros. Oh, enjoy fixing all the cracked solder joints. TK, make sure you silicon the caps to the board and to each other if possible, because that's a big point of weakness. Massive cracked solder joints on them. The wave soldering wasn't sufficient, or the wave soldering profile wasn't sufficient, and also they should have used through-hole plated boards, a whole bunch of other stuff, and secured the components more securely to the board. So yeah, but other than that, other than those 500 problems, they're good amps. They sound great, and once you do that, they're pretty good. Yeah, thanks for that, Colin. Thanks for being you. Thanks, mate. I often seem to get told to be anything but me by a lot of people who I've never met. I don't know why they think they've got sway over me when they've never met me, but that's the internet for you. Alright, channel select's working. Drawing 20 watts from the wall as we warm up. Love my SVT2 Pro. Yeah, they're good sounding amps. The SVT3 has really pissy heat sinks, but they seem to be okay. I don't know. I've never seen one with a blown output stage. I'm sure it happens, but... Alright, we're drawing 25 watts. So not much more than in essentially standby when it's warming up. Alright, let's give it some signal. So I wonder if there's any output stage conduction at all. I don't think there is. So we may indeed have a bad valve this time, even though that wasn't the fault last time. So to the customer's mind, it's doing the same thing as last time, so I didn't fix it properly. But last time it was a problem with the connector, and this time it's probably a shorted output valve and a blown HT fuse. So two completely different things resulting in the same symptom. So just be a bit gentle with your local tech if that happens. Don't go guns blazing. Oh, you should have fixed it last time. You didn't fix it because it's doing the same thing, because it could be a completely different cause that they had no way of addressing or knowing about at the time. Alrighty then. So there's no rear accessible HT fuse in this unit, so we've got to take it out. I believe it's PCB mounted. Inspect that once we've removed the chassis. My mother gave a Seiko watch from my cousin in Japan. He works at Nippon Law University. The watch is simple and gold-plated. Watch given to students as a graduation present. Seiko watches are fucking amazing, man. I love them. You could be because the range is so massive, you could be a Seiko collector and be fully, like, fulfilled so many different styles and designs. And even the cheap ones, the Seiko 5s, they're just good, honest, automatic, really reliable watches. I just remembered I have a leftover double cheeseburger in the fridge. Man, that is fucking... That's a thing. Leftover cheeseburger. Why does my real name no longer show in chat? Because YouTube's fucking stupid. And they keep changing shit and making it worse. We ranted about that in the last stream, and I'm in a better mood today, so I'm not going to rant today. I sort of had a mini rant, but not really a rant. It's just state of the world and keeping you updated and explaining why I don't ship to the US and why no one else does either. Alright, so this thing is very similar to a Blackstar HT5. Almost bloody identical, to be honest. It's got a solid state phase inverter, valve front end, and it's got a push-pull dual triode output stage rated at about 5 watts. They're about 3 or 4 watts, but don't let that get in the way of the marketing department, eh? Using a 12BH7, so that's a dual triode, like an overgrown 12AX7 or 12AT7 I should say. And yeah, she can produce a couple of watts on the output transformer. There's the output transformer up the preamp end for some reason. It's only got one impedance output, 116 ohmer, because that's what's in the cabinet. Seiko made a Brian May Red Special watch. Really? I did not know that. Let's check it out. Thanks, Six. Yes, I am sure I want to leave YouTube. Let's check it out. Thanks for the heads up, Six, you bloody legend. Are you into watches at all, Six? We've never discussed that. I don't think your autism goes to that level. Ah. Wonder what they're worth. Seiko 5. Yeah, so the Seiko 5, this is, see the little 5 there? It looks like an S. That's their, like, affordable range. However, fuck off. You can't look at any pages without pop-ups these days. Even if you don't immediately know the Red Special, you know its sound. The instrument, built by Queen's guitarist Brian May and his father in the early 1960s, I start to read an article and I get hiccups straight away, has had a consistent and pivotal place in Queen's work. A homemade guitar that has more than earned its place in rock history. The Red Special was the perfect sonic harmonizer. It's closely layered harmonics cutting through. Yeah. You're a watch guy. Don't get too fucking fancy about it. Of course, the Red Special looked as distinctive as it sounded. Okay, so it's just a photo of like the back of the guitar. Okay, and then it's got the visible movement. That's the one thing I like about the modern 5 series. You can see the automatic movement. You can watch the counterweight swing around as you move your hand. But yeah, they've got red glass on that one. Huh. So yeah, it's purely for collectors. You wouldn't be wearing it out or anything, unless you went to a Queen gig. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye out for a cheap 5, just to have the glass back, because I haven't got any watches with the skeleton back, they call it, where you can see the movement. Luke does though. Luke has one. Yeah, Dick Cheney's dead. Good. I watch every video Wristwatch Revival puts out. I haven't watched that yet. I should get onto that. I've been keeping an eye out for an old 60s Omega, just to have a Seamaster in my collection. Because you can get them, yeah, sometimes you get a bargain. Sometimes people think, it's just an old watch, get rid of it. And they're going for about somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000. In no disclosure of, the working condition, just as is, It's like buying an amp on fucking Facebook Marketplace. You got no idea if it's going to hold time or... But yeah, that's what the service guy's for. And I'm more than happy to support my local watch repairer. Because just like me, he's got to make a living, and he's good at what he does. We'll see how good he is when I pick up the Sportsmatic today. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm excited. Alrighty, so let's check our fuses. The day I woke up and Dick Cheney didn't. It was a great day. It was a good day. It was a good week, wasn't it? Fuse good. Fuse good. Just what I was fearing. Oh, alright. So where's our phase inverter? It's over here. Just check those MOSFETs. You alright, meter? You're in the right setting? No shorts there. Let's fire it up and check some voltages. How you going, Andy? What's happening, legend? Wristwatch Revival is like Lyle, but for watches. Mad. I'll have to check that out. It's researching watches is has become lame as fuck, but it's become a way to relax for me. Yeah, I should play guitar instead. Read about electronics and design things, but it feels like work now. Shit, it's 9 o'clock. When did that happen? I was going to take you for a little road trip to go pick up the watch and go to the shopping centre where it is. But that's a bit too convoluted. I'll just do it after stream. Do we download a schematic or just go for it? Alright, where's your output valve? Pin 1, 448, pin 3, 0.95, really? Pin 6, 448, pin 8, 0.95. Okay. Should have several volts there. 0.95, yeah. Okay, have we got an open circuit resistor? No, because then it would be a massive voltage. Cathode's good. So, what would cause it to not conduct on either triode simultaneously? No heater. No heater would cause that. So, pin 4 and 5. 130 millivolts AC, but does it have DC heaters? 12.57. Alright, so it's not that. On the grids, we've got minus 24 volts and minus 24 volts. So why have we got no conduction? Oh, shit. Where's my little screwdriver? There it is. Alright, we do have conduction now. It was biased really cold. Minus 22. Pin 3. 0.133. Okay, so hang on. I'm thinking it was cathode bias. That's just a bias sense resistor, so we should only have a couple of millivolts there. Alright, so we do have output stage. Let's test it going into the... This is probably why I should have a schematic. Effects return. Alright, so we've got signal on the effects return. And now we've got signal on the input. So, is it another case of effects jack? Sorry, I just realised you're getting a pretty hefty square wave into your earphones there. Alright, I think it's just the effects loop jack again on this one, so might replace that. So yeah, no fail valve again. I do have them in stock, so so what am I trying to say? Sorry, I'm cognitive pause while I'm thinking. I'll put that under load on another bench while I'm working on some other stuff, just to double check that everything's stable. But I think that's just a connector and effects jack issue. So, what's next? We've got an hour, or 3/4 of an hour. Watch and jewellery repair supply companies often carry useful tools and accessories for amps and electronics repairs. Yes! And guitar repairs too. Good one. Good to see you too, by the way. I haven't acknowledged you yet in this stream. But I think it's Rikon Tools is one that I've used. And they sell all sorts of, particularly rotary tools for the Dremel, but much cheaper than Dremel stuff. Because Dremel, they sell you one in a blister pack for $20. These guys, $20 will get you like 200. Let me share that site with you. I think they're in US dollars. Shock horror. Rikon Tools. Yeah, check this place out. Heaps of useful stuff for any trade, really. Anyone that tinkers and fucks around with little things that we do. I have my grandfather's watch vise. The jaws are about 1 inch in width. You clamp it in a larger vise. Nice. Those fractal vices are really cool for weird shaped shit too. Simo. I'm out the front doing some cement rendering. Yeah. Good man. On your own house or working? I'm okay, I guess, Brad. Just got off work. Built a deck today. Nice. How good is it when you build something like that? It's really satisfying to stand back and go, I just fucking built something mad. Wicked. I had a Seiko wind-up I bought from a drink. I bought from a drink in a bar for $10. You bought from a drink. Okay. Great watch, but eventually lost it. Yeah, the wind-ups are cool. This one you can wind up as well as automatic. So if you're not going to wear it for a day or two, while you're sitting there, just give it a how's your father. Just give it a couple of winds, you know. It's easy when it's not on your wrist. But yeah, I like it. The dial's pretty small. I'm trying to get myself used to bigger dials because I like the small dials. You almost forget you're wearing them. Alright, what do we got next? Deluxe Reverb. Reissue. I don't think this is the dumb one. I think this is the half decent one. Ooh, creamback. Nice. Love a bit of creamback. So did your mum. Moving on. This is the... Where's the PR number? Doesn't have a PR number? Oh, yep, PR239. So yeah, I think this is the not so shit one. Not the stupid custom noisy fucking things. Check out the Tolex, bro. Looks like carved leather. He said that's... The customer admitted to me, he goes, yeah, the main reason I bought it was because of the covering. I'm like, damn it, it's true. Guitarists do buy with their eyes, not their ears. Ken Simpson, oh, hey, mate, how you going? It says Simo42. I don't know who anyone is at the moment, unless you use your actual name in your profile handle. What's the trim pot control there? It controls the bias, if you're talking about DSL5. Eslingers is where I bought German-made scratch brushes. Nice. I think you've mentioned them before. I've got to check them out. Eslinger. I'll put a pin in that one. Drunk A drunk in a bar sold it. Shit. Questionable ethics there. He needed one more drink, so he sold his watch for $10. Oh well, is what it is. Right, so we're just going to go hell for leather on this one. Plug her in, check the current out of the wall, make sure nothing goes crazy. There's no reports of anything blowing fuses, I don't think. Or was there? Hang on. Hang on. Hold on a doggone minute. Hot Rod Deluxe. Oh, it hasn't been dropped off yet. Okay. Overheated, then shut down. Sorry, I'm getting on another job. PV Century base head. We've got a Roland organ strings 09 signal failure. That'll be interesting. I might do a video on that. VTM 120. Ooh, I like them. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Just don't do it to me, Brad. Don't tell me I didn't write a job sheet. Oh, I'll remember that. Fucking no, I won't. What often happens is they'll bring in a guitar and an amp, and I've got a clipboard for guitars and a clipboard for amps, basically, and maybe I'll... Okay, there it is, yeah. So you have 3 guitars and 1 amp, so I'll put it on the guitar clipboard. Okay, DRRI, Deluxe Reverb reissue, blowing fuses, never reliable, was returned to the store, fuse replaced, chassis removed. Investigate. Quote for road hardening. Okay, so we won't pair it up. Let's not say we did. So, it's been to the original... I remember the story now. It's been to the original retailer who sold it to him a couple of months after he bought it when it failed. They seemed annoyed with him for bringing him back because it failed. Not mentioning any names. Guitar Factory Parramatta. But yeah, they opened it up, put a new fuse in it, and away he went. So it could have been, I don't know, could have been an intermittent output valve. Could have been an intermittent short. Could be anything. But when they did that, they didn't put the screws all the way back in. So he just wanted to check over everything. I said, man, you're within your rights. It's been returned twice within the warranty period. You're within your rights according to Australian consumer law to get your refund. Full refund. We've got really strong consumer protections in Australia, brought on by the dodgy car industry. They called them lemon laws when they first came out. So if you've got a failure of a product, no matter what it is, and you've returned it, I think the 3rd time, you're entitled to a full refund. So they can't run you around until you get sick of them, because that's what was happening. So I keep telling people this, and they keep ignoring it and just getting me to repair it anyway. So, you know, I'm doing what I can. These large stores seem to just get away with stuff though, and the small stores don't for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they've got enough business that they can be rude and aggressive to people or whatever. This is speculation. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I don't know. I'd be wanting a refund if you've had it fail 3 times on you. Right, so visually the valves look okay. Very rattly. I love a cream back. Made in UK. Just got to undo the little cable clamp. I have a video about scratch brushes on my channel. Really? Wow. That's full on. And just remove the reverb cables. Tipper on its side. Remove the, so the screws are half undone. They didn't put the chassis self-tapping screws, those ones, back in all the way. They're sitting out by half an inch. It's like they got the screw started and then forgot. Honest mistake. No harm, no foul. It is a beautiful looking Tolex. Really looks like leather. Looks thicker than the average Tolex. Sorry, this is taking me all day. I'll just get my drill. I'm wearing my thongs today. Not the American thongs, the Aussie thongs. Just to be relaxed, you know. Got my holiday shirt on. Just trying to chill, bros. Gonna have some severe storms later, possibly. I love a good storm, so I'll be out there watching that. What do you reckon? Should we do a, if the opportunity arises with the forecasting, should we do a storm chasing stream? Maybe? Maybe, possibly? Would you guys be interested in that, or am I barking up the wrong hedge? Mainly just hanging out and enjoying the scenery while the storm rolls over. Alrighty. So what fuse is in there? You be down with that, Basil? Time to put him in the fuck it bucket. We got an orange lemon of a president. Orange and a lemon mixed in one. Put him in the fuck it bucket. He'll fucking put himself in there soon. Fuse good. Fuse rating. What is it? F1A. Fast blow 1. A Stormwatch live stream would be awesome. Yeah. We'd just be at mercy of if we're travelling around the internet, that's all. It's pretty good around here though, like it won't be going miles. I'll just go out to like Luddenham or something where you got a nice view of the mountain range from a distance. Because I'm in the mountains, I'm a hillbilly, you don't see the storms come until they're right on top of you because you don't have a massive line of sight. At my place it's pretty good because we're on a ridge and there's a lookout up there. But it's a walking track to get out there. And so if you get stuck in the rain, your camera's fucking soaked. You'd probably want to have a large umbrella. And I've got one. I could do that. The Sony Boy, there's no confident statement anywhere that it's weather sealed. Although reportedly it is. Sony doesn't say it in any of its literature. So I'll be taking Panny Boy out there and just lock on the focus, because whenever you're focusing on a sky, it pulses quite a bit, because it's not a massive contrasty thing for it to focus on with its contrast detect system. So yeah, I'll be taking Panny Boy out. She's good and weather sealed. But you know, I might take the Sony out and just do photos with it, because photos are nice. And what I did last time was I had every camera I fucking owned, which was two Panny Boys, yeah, 3. And I had them just aimed at different parts of the sky, and they're on time lapse, but the exposure was set to like 3 seconds, and the interval was like immediate. So shutter open 3 seconds, close process, shutter open 3 seconds, close process, just constant with the aperture set, so that gave a kind of darker than what you're actually seeing exposure, but it made the lightning look better if it did catch a bolt. And I think I caught 1 or 2 bolts doing that, but even then it was super. 3 cameras focused on different parts of the sky during an active storm. Still only got out of like 200 shots, like 3 lightning shots, and they weren't brilliant either, otherwise I would have posted them. I did get some rotation happening in the cloud though, which was interesting, almost like we were going to see a slight funnel. That was a couple of years ago now. Yeah, it's just a good chance to relax and breathe in the humid, stormy air. I love it. Fucking love it, mate. Alright, so blowing fuses, you reckon? Let's just check the shitty plate loads, because they love to fail. Wrong setting. Thought I had one straight away there. I'm getting really hungry. I should have had some breakfast. I'll have some muesli once I finish the stream. Okay, I thought I had one there too, but that's a cap charging. That's the trem. It's bypass cap across it. They've got the metal films for the phase inverter, which is good. Fuse is okay. They've got a little pico fuse there. Our heater balance resistors are healthy. So let's chuck the meter on it and figure out what's going on. Let's piss this stupid thing off. They can go in the bin. You have tornadoes in Australia, Brad? Yes, we do. Occasionally. One actually caused a bit of damage, and it made the national news. That's how often it happens. i.e. not very often. Where's time for dailies? Dailies? Dailies. I'll be back if you're still on. Nah, I'll be off in half an hour, Wes. But yeah, have a good day, mate. Take it easy. Good evening from Scotland. How you going, Martin Reed? What's going on, mate? What's in the dram glass? What's in the Glencairn? Just checking over for dry solder connections, because these are known for shitty soldering, these series of amps. Very inconsistent. Sometimes I just completely forget to solder a connection. So you'll see the wire folded, or maybe not even folded, just passing through an eyelet, making intermittent contact, but no one ever went back and soldered it, which is quite common on these. Like probably 50% of the amps of this series that come in, I'll find some dry solder joint somewhere, or something almost shorting something out because there's too much insulation removed from the end of the wire, or a component like a resistor mounted directly to the valve socket with a lot of bare lead showing. But we're looking alright so far. The thermistor. No broken leads. Ooh. I think I see what's going on here. That'd blow a fuse. The pilot lamp. Well, hang on. Would that blow a fuse? With a ground reference? No, it wouldn't. It'd hum though. If there's no grounded center tap, which there isn't on this one for the heater winding, then that wouldn't blow the fuse. No, but the lamp's almost touching the chassis. There's only about 0.5 mil clearance. But all that would do is, because there's no, the only ground reference is those heater balance resistors, that'd just throw it off off balance. Here in Connecticut, we're like, rain? What's that? We're so far behind the average rainfall for this year. Had 2-inch rainfall last weekend and everything is bone dry 2 days later. Yeah, it just rolls off the top if it's that dry, eh? Good. And it's just like silt. Late arrival, but good to unwind with Brad and everyone here. Choose from Montreal Canada. Dark and rainy evening. Well, enjoy the last couple of days before it gets freezing. It's supposed to be really cold winter over there in North America, from what I hear. I like to forage for mushrooms, but there's been virtually none this fall. Damn. It's a Campbelltown, Glen Scotia. Pretty knackered as we're painting the living room. 4 coats. Nice. Painting sucks, but it's very satisfying when you finish it. Doing all the prep work sucks for painting, but you need to do it. Otherwise, your results just aren't good enough. Do they spin the other way? The tornadoes? Yes, they do, Lou. Literally. So do our, we call them cyclones down here, but so do our hurricanes. I think it's literally the definition of a cyclone is it happens in the southern hemisphere. It's a hurricane equivalent. Might make a cup of tea, mate. Wee cup of tea, love. Cup of tea. Want a wee cup, eh? What is that? It's like a Cumbrian accent. Want a wee cup, eh? Fancy a wee cup, eh? Alright, let's get the meters on this bad boy. They always fill the top eyelet with solder. I like to pass the plate lead through the bottom eyelet and leave the top one open to clip your leads onto, champions. That's my jam. Let's just check for any stray voltage. No stray voltage. Oh, that's one thing I'll check before we fire it up and just have a look. We know they've got the shittest caps in the world. You've been to Oasis? No, I couldn't think of anything fucking more boring than going to an Oasis show, to be honest. I was sick of them the first time around, and I'm even more sick of them the second time around. I don't get it. I don't understand the attraction. I spot a PV Century Base Series head in the background. Yeah, I was hoping to get to that today, but I'm getting too hungry to keep streaming all day. And when the shop opens, so I've got a feeling today's going to be busy. I don't know why. Sometimes you get the spidey sense that you're going to get a million customers. It's a good thing. They like the dank. We have that here. Yeah, we've had a fair bit of rain the last couple of weeks. We'll go like a long spell with none, and like a couple of weeks with none, and then it'll rain all weekend, and it's good. It's great. All right, no visible fuckery under there. Just check those droppers. You got the stupid little series cap there. I don't know why they did that. It doesn't make any sense. That cap's charging from the meter, so that's not going to give us an accurate measurement. Just whenever you remove the cap cover, just be very cognizant that you've done so. Don't reach under the thing to shift the amp on the bench, because you're going to shock yourself. Shock me! That's a good song. Did you hear him? Did you hear him oh, sorry. Did you hear him rattling on about kangaroos like a bell end? No. I'd imagine that's something you'd do in a drug-induced psychosis, though. I don't know. They're cockheads, but they're performative cockheads. I think deep down they're good blokes. I think, who's the outspoken one? Well, they both are, but I think Can't remember if it's Noel or Liam that's the funny fucker. But yeah, it's all tongue-in-cheek. It's British humour, you know. Takes a piss out of himself just as much as anyone else, and he never punches down, so he's got my respect in that respect. But I don't know, just their music's just boring as batshit to me. It was like a hipster thing back in the day that, you know. Are you into music? Yeah, I just got Oasis' new album. Oh, okay, bye. Plus the cliche of people playing fucking Wonderwall at parties added to the cringe factor as well. Cap covers, perfect for holding the screws in. Booyah. Get my other meter. See, Robbie? What are you having? Pasta salad tonight. Nice. That's a very summery food. Where are you? Oh, he's probably already gone. So, iron's warmed up. I'll just remove the solder from the top. Let's get rid of some of those cable ties. I don't like the way they cable tie everything. Or that, I think that's from the factory. They're all the same colour, so I don't think it was a repair. But yeah, just a big bunch of wires here. You can't access anything. We'll just get them up in the air a bit so I can get to that solder connection down there, because that heater wire is right in the way. Alright, we should be able to get in there now. Let's not melt anything. It'd be nice if the solder melted though. Fucking lead free. Seems to leave a crust on itself. Alright, I think I've got a problem with my connector on this iron. I had this the other day. I hope it's not the element. Hello? It's warm. Alright, she's back. I think the connector's getting a bit dirty. It's this weird multi-pin connector. And it seems to be affecting the thermostat. So it's probably the sense line. The element's still okay. Just another thing to fix, champions. Just seems like when you repair shit for a living, the universe just throws tons and tons of broken shit at you. Gotcha. Liam is the gobshite but funny. Okay, so Liam's the funny one. One of them's like quiet and the other one's funny. Wife is canning mushrooms at the moment. Nice one. Yeah, they'd preserve all right, wouldn't they? How do you prep them, Sean? Alright, where's the center tap? Is that it? B+, there it is. Should have about 60, 70 ohms. Something like that. If I can get the friggin' hook over it.
No. Gonna break it in the process. I'll tell you what. The easier thing's just to go under the cap doghouse and just tap onto the reservoir cap lead. Or not. $200 ohm. Oh, what am I thinking of? Okay, so the little cap is on the top of the stack. Bash my head on shit because I've got no hair. When you're bald, you fucking bash your head on everything because you don't have the hair to tell you that you're near something. So you end up with all these cuts on your head from bashing it on fucking everything because by the time you've touched it, you've already cut yourself open. Good fun. Beef Wellington. Don't think so. There was a guy in the northwest that made neck throughs in the 70s, 80s, used the name Oasis. I see slow cookers for free at the transfer station. Apparently folks buy them and never use them. Yeah, we use ours all the time too, good, and it's great. My biggest thing I do in them is this slow cooked pulled beef for Mexican. I sear it first over charcoal to get that, you know, smoky sort of flavour, and then with my secret blend of herbs and spices, put it in the slow cooker for 12 hours. It comes out shredded. Just give it a stir and it just shreds itself. It's great. I like using skirt steak for that, but it's a bit harder to get your hands on sometimes. So just chuck's fine, or even brisket. If you use brisket though, you gotta trim the fat off it a bit, or you just end up with a big layer of fat at the top of the slow cooker when it's done, which is fine. You can just skim it off and put it aside. Turn it off. Now, because we have reports of blowing fuses, despite all the fuses being okay, they could have been put in after the fact. So I might just test those 6v6s. I've got to go down the road. Some fuckwit dropped a big screen TV down the road, a plasma or something TV. They don't realise that you can drop that shit off for free at the local fucking tip. So I might go pick that. I've got some e-waste to drop off anyway. I take my batteries and just shit like old boards and clean Marnie's place out. There was an old printer that's fucked, so I might go pick up that TV and take it up there in the process, get it off the street because people are scum dumping that shit beside the road. It's horrible. It's your own fucking planet too. No, people don't understand that. Especially when they take it for free at the waste depot. Alright. Go up to 450. Yeah, we got pretty good balance between the two. Pretty stable. The gas test, yeah, all good. Alright, I don't think there's anything wrong with the valves. 15 minutes left, champions. We'll check this one out and then I'll have to love you and leave you. Okay, why have I got 38 millivolts DC? That doesn't make sense. Oh, hang on, turned off the standby, didn't I? Yeah, there we go. I forgot I turned the switches off. Right. You know what? With those valves, okay, I'm just going to fire straight up. I was mainly worried one of them was short. Grab a speaker while we're in standby. Set everything about midway, except for reverb. I might plug in my tank down here just to test it instead of pulling the one out of the... I will test the one in the cab, but it's more convenient to use this one right now. Right, I always forget which jack's which. The back one is the send. Drawing 70 watts from the wall. Reasonably balanced between the two valves. No extraneous noise. Got reverb return. Let's just plug it in and have a quick play. It's curious to me that they mention it's blowing fuses, but then the fuses are all okay. I did say there's a bunch of stuff I do to these, which I'll go over shortly. I think I should do a video actually on all the stuff I do to these. I might do that actually. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting my video mojo back, so maybe that'll be a good warm-up one to get back in the game. You know what I'm saying? Alright, I'll just mute myself again, 1 sec. Dunno, legends, another slightly unsatisfying diagnosis or lack thereof. Again, we'll put this under load for a while. Just see if we can pin down what is supposedly going on. But regardless, I told this customer about the options to make this a very reliable and long-lasting amp, and he was down for it. He was happy to put in a bit of extra cash to make sure it would be a reliable long-term amp. And to be honest, this is one of the better reissues from Fender. Don't get anything with custom in the name. They're dog shit. If your playing is fun, Chris, my playing is terrible at the moment. I need to sit down and play a lot. It's really hard to know where to kick off your practice, like what to do. So I guess I just need to play some songs and just learn them, you know. Get the repertoire up, and then the licks will follow, I guess. That's usually what happens when I go through a period of playing a lot. Usually over the holiday break. I'm playing the same old licks over and over at the moment, and it's quite frustrating. I don't have time to practice. It's literally about 15 hours a day, 7 days a week working at the moment, just to try and keep everything under control. So, yeah, I'll put this one aside and just have it idling as well. I've got quite a few that I've got to do that too, so it's being a bit annoying. So anyway, what I'm going to do to this, backup diodes on the rectifier. I'm going to move the grid stoppers to the valve sockets, like on a traditional Fender, because the closer to the valve socket, the better for oscillation and interference purposes. I'm going to put the screen grid resistors on the valve socket, move that wire to over there. Let's zoom in a bit. Going to move see the orange wire, that's the screen supply, but the screen grid resistors are on the board over here. Down there, those blue ones. So I'm going to upgrade them to 1K and move them to the valve sockets, just to get the heat source off the board, as well as upgrading to 1K just for better longevity on the 6v6s, because the quality is not great these days. We're going to remove the heater fuse, because that's another weak spot in these, particularly in the higher powered ones like the Vibrolux and the Twin. Anything with chunkier output valves or more of them, there's a lot of current required of these fuse holders, and they're not up to the standard, and neither are the spade connectors, so you often get them burnt out. So because we've done that, we need to move the heater balance resistors down to either the valve socket, or the valve sockets are probably most convenient, or over here, and drill another hole and just mount them to the pilot lamp, which I think I might do anyway, because that's almost shorting out on the chassis. So I want to check over that and see if I can just rework that and make it a bit more insulated, and possibly stick a bit of fish paper under there like you see on some of the other Fenders. What else am I going to do? I'm going to upgrade the plate loads. I'm going to replace them with some GO half-watt carbon films, which are much higher quality than half-watts they've used, because they go drift higher, they get noisy, and they often go open circuit. I'm going to change the first stage bypass cap to a 4.7 microfarad, so we get rid of some of the subsonic frequencies that happen from your hand touching the strings, and that swamp the succeeding stages, and make it a lot cleaner overdriving without really affecting the perceptible frequency response of the amp. So that's another good one. We'll check the lead dress around the vibrato, they call it vibrato, the tremolo, to just make sure there's no ticking there. I've got to either short that out with a blanking plug or grab the foot switch. We'll check the foot switch too, so I'll test it with the foot switch as well. And pop the back off the foot switch and just check the wiring, because often they can be not properly wetted solder joints that crack and whatever. Check the valve. Sorry, I'll check the reverb circuit for oscillation. Sometimes that can occur at certain settings with the lead dress. If that does occur, you can rewire that anode down against the chassis like you found in the vintage amps, and that generally sorts that problem out. Check all the grounding, clean the pots. The grounding's actually not bad on these. The noise floor is very low. The custom ones, the noise floor is fucking unusable. Pathetic. I've got another one here which I'm going to do a video on about all this shit that I had to do. Hours and hours of work to make it a usable amp. That was one of the Zinky designed Vibrolux reissue custom blah blah blah, insert marketing term here, shithouse amps. But this one's a lot less bad. What else am I going to do? So I've got it back up to... just do a recap. Get rid of the IC axials. The low value ones are okay. I haven't had them fail, like, I think ever. So they can stay there. Actually, this is interesting. I just spotted that then. Let me look at the inside of the chassis cabinet. No shit stains? No shit stains. Huh. I just spotted on the bias supply. This may be the cause of our problem, champions. Just looking closely. Have a look at C29. That little radial cap there. I believe that's a bias supply. 22 microfarad, 63 volt. This might have eluded everyone that's looked at the amp so far. There's a fucking hole in it. Look at that. I used to talk to Bruce Zinke. He's an interesting guy. You could say that. I don't think I'd want to talk to him after seeing what he's done to fucking Fender. There's a fucking hole in the cap, champions. What the hell? That's in the bias supply. So that would cause loss of bias and blowing the fuses. I don't think it's like it's been pushed in though, Andy. It's been stabbed. I reckon that's a manufacturing fuck up. It's got caught in something. And something's poked a hole in the bastard. Because normally the whole top pops up and it cracks. See these lines? They're specifically designed to crack there. I've never seen that before, but that's been stabbed by something. Don't forget the fusible link in the bias supply. Fusible link in the bias supply? Are you talking this? You talking that one there? The Pico fuse? Yeah, I fucked that off. Bypass that shit. It's actually the first one I've seen with one of them. I don't think I've seen the bias supply be fused before, but they have to fuse every secondary for Europe, the European market, which is silly. Yeah, there's a hole there. So I reckon that's our main issue. Huh. There we go. Well, that is satisfying, champions. We can leave the stream on a good note. And I better leave because I think people are starting to pull up out the front. Like I said, I just got the spidey sense that it's going to be a busy day today. So I'm going to take off. I'm going to have something to eat before I get hangry. And a cup of tea, which I've probably let get cold now. That's the way it works when you're a tech. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone, you bloody legends. And I'm hoping to get some bloody edited videos out to you this week. I'm feeling the inspiration come back slowly. So hopefully I can produce some good stuff for you. Keep you entertained. And rock on, everyone. Sit tight. We'll get through everything. You know how it is. We fucking talk to your neighbours, bloody, unless they're lunatics like my one. I'll put up some posts when I get my watch back and get that leather strap that I'm super keen to get, and I'll chuck up a nice photo. But yeah, feel free to jump on the Discord, everyone, and chat about watches, amps, whatever. If you know how to use Discord, you'll find me. But I might put up a post for members at least that has the link. If you're on Discord, jump on there, say g'day, and just have a good old nerdy chat. That's what it's all about over here, champions. So take it easy. Have a good weekend, or what's left of it. Hopefully Lyle streams tomorrow, and if he does, I'll catch you in the chat. Rock on. Rock out with your cock out, or whatever appendage you do or don't have. I'm going to